The platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, and I'm delighted to say for the first time since the conclusion of Term 1 in 2026, we are back full term, regular programming on a Friday night. We had a couple of sporadic hit-outs at the top and tail of last term, but no, this term, it's not just here and there and special editions when circumstances allow us. It is regular each and every Friday night that we'll be with you in this time slot, bringing you all the action from, most notably, the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy Series. But tonight, in a special first of term outing, we'll also do the nightly double and bring you the opening round of the Disruptive, there's no sponsor attributed to this one, my apologies, the GSRC GT1 Civil War Challenge. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Capen. Alongside me tonight, fourth different producer, director, in as many nights as Joe Baldwin. Good evening to you, Trucker. Great to have you back. In fact, you're the reason why it was only temporary programming last term. Great to be back on a regular basis for Friday Night Motorsport this term. And what a way to start with the GT1s at the Sebring International Raceway in Florida. No Nick Fodiatis in sight, quite frankly, and understandably. He might be elsewhere in Florida tonight, though, because it's a Florida double. We go to St. Petersburg for the Indy cars, and that'll be an absolute beauty as well.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't even had a chance to have a look at St. Petersburg other than load up, update Adam's camera pack and get ready to go. So, we're here for race one tonight, simply for the fact that I'm actually on holidays at the moment. So I figured, why not? We'll get in and make a bit of a show of it for round one of the series. Let's see what it's all about, and hopefully we can get a few more guys in here during the season.
Jonathan Harris, oh my goodness, the banter has already started. The what would you call it, constructive criticism, if you like, from him. Not a fan of the GT1, but he's still gone out and qualified sixth, so it can't be that bad. What are you doing to me, Jono? 1 minute 56.327, the man that dominated the supercars on Wednesday night, Andrew Dyson. I wonder if he's going to be in as fine a form in the post-race show as he was on Wednesday night. He's on top of the timesheets at the moment, and Adam Funslow alongside him. We'll get to the grid in just a moment. There are your track and weather service settings. In fact, leave that there, Joe, but I think we can also show everybody at home the calendar for this term with a sub-note that it's not the usual. This is how it would have gone out had it gone out on social media, but there's a reason why we didn't include it in our social media drop on Monday, and the reason is the bottom line. To be confirmed on a week-to-week basis, broadcast times for this series. It's dependent upon the producer and director availability. As Joe has already said, he's available tonight. Somewhere down the track we may get into a situation whereby we have a tag team effort like what we do on Thursday nights with Schmicky handing over to Neil for Joe to obviously get home from work, get dinner and then jump in at about 6:30 Western time to bring us the Indy cars. But as you can see, 6 of one, half dozen of the other, a lot of great iconic American circuits and the British circuits to go with it as well. Sebring into Brands Hatch. Sprint format as well, so very much similar to all of our other offerings here in the sense that we have a mix of different race lengths and formats. We go for a double in the United Kingdom, weeks 2 and 3, Brands Hatch and Donington. Then to Road Atlanta, which is always a classic. Watkins Glen Alton Park, Road America, Snetterton, Daytona and Silverstone. Not a bad calendar, that. Silverstone for 60 minutes. So let's just hope we don't finish under safety car, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. Not like we did in the V's last night. I don't know, did anyone get to the bottom of why the safety car came out in that one? Because I'm a little bit unsure, but...
no idea.
No idea. Just one of those things that's happened, I guess. But, yeah, look, it's great track, great venue. Definitely looking forward to it tonight. This should be great fun.
It should be indeed. Let's remind everybody that we are here with thanks to the great people at Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. Aidan Cale, I didn't mind the baseline setups. I found the actual setups a bit more tedious, says Aidan Cale. Track and weather service settings for you. 11:40 local server time, 3 km/h winds in a, what have we got there? South to southwesterly direction, 30 degrees the ambient, my goodness, 44 on track, 53% humidity, but most importantly it is summer over there in the United States and it is dry. Actually it's a little over, iRacing measurements always annoy the hell out of me because It's actually a 6-kilometre circuit. We've detailed that in several episodes of GSRC broadcasts in the past. The United States of America, Florida, home to the Sebring 12-hour, of course. It's one of our favourites, unless you're Nick Fodiatis. Andrew Dyson and Darren Lobb are the front row on this grid. Adam Funslow and Travis has a party from row 2. Adam Lavis and Jonathan Harris from row 3. From row 4, Guy Leach and Liam Haycock from 5. Doug Gowans and Joel Hansen from 6. It's Nathan Michael and Dale Sharp from 7. Martin Davis and Brian Bullock. From 8, Thomas Sinner and Rodney Gollan. From 9, James Katia, who was good in the V's last night until he crashed out. Dale Atkins alongside him, Greg Heaney and Jason Tierman make up the top 20. Outside of that, Luke Page, the Whiskey Business Luke Page. Thorn Weggett is in race control, so scratch him off the list. Brett Bradbury's alongside him. Tim Watson from 23rd, and maybe Kai and Ashton Ardley, but they don't look like they're joining in the fun of the fair here. 10 seconds to rock and roll behind the safety car. And to be honest, if Andrew Dyson goes out and does what he did on Wednesday night, Joe, I don't see anyone going with him.
Looking at the qualifying times, I think it's certainly going to be on the cards there, right up to very close towards the end of qualifying. You had about a 1.2 second advantage over the next best in Darren Lobb, but he's when Dyso's on, he's certainly on, and this is a car that suits him pretty well. We've seen how dominant he can be when he's in a car that he's comfortable in.
We're ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. The end of what's been a very big week. The start of a doubleheader on a Friday night. Great to go tin top racing into open wheelers instead of the other way around. GT1 is back on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and we're underway at the Sebring International Raceway. Friday night motorsport with thanks to Disruptive Labs. Down on the inside, Andrew Dyson leads the field to turn 1. Around the outside, Funslow and Lobb are side by side, arguing over the same piece of real estate. Trouble at the back. In the grass, Thomas Sinner drops and Martin Davis drops a couple of spots down at turn 3. Jonathan Harris, the big loser on the opening lap. He was the one out in the wacky weeds. He's down 17 spots and pointing the wrong way. Behind him is Martin Davis.
That was Martin Davis actually pointing the wrong way. John Harris, he's playing catch up, but Lobb and as a party side by side.
Have a look at Trav. Whoa! Oh, man. Turn around. And it set off a chain reaction. Oh. Have a look at this. 4 of them involved. The 602, the worst for wear there. It was bouncing and bobbling. That's going nowhere except the back of the garage, I would imagine. That was Doug Gowans. Joel Hansen, Guy Leach, Liam Haycock also caught up in that. Adam Lavis manages to drive away, but I'm just trying to work out exactly where. He's managed to somehow come out of all of that in 5th. Remarkable. Someone's collected him, and then someone else has punched him back in the right direction, and everybody else has been left behind, fending for themselves. And Lavis, unfortunately for everybody else involved in that, Joe, gets the get out of jail free card.
So it looks like Mav's got a touch. Yeah, so he got touched up from the inside and up. Yeah, set off a bit of a reaction back there as I.
Like ping pong balls and dominoes and pinballs and yo-yos and all that sort of stuff. Just left, right, you know. A bit like Formula V last night in the sense that there were a couple of portable chicanes inserted on the circuit at a couple of different points throughout the course of the evening. A couple of moving roadblocks. Quite chaotic what we saw there last night on the streets of Adelaide. Maybe that was an advertisement for why we don't go street racing in the open wheelers all that much. Cannot wait to have Formula V at Oran Park next Thursday night. Dyson, Lobb, as a party, Funslow and Lavis, the top 5. Sinner, Michael, Sharp, Rodney Gollan and James Katia up 7 spots apiece already as we get through the opening lap of 40 minutes around here, which... Well, we're looking at somewhere in the vicinity of 20 laps, ladies and gentlemen. The lap time's just south of that 2-minute marker, as you would have seen when we ran through the grid there. The format of racing here, quite simple, same as everything else. There is, when we get to a sprint round, there'll be a compulsory pit stop in race 2 only. In the 60-minute races, of course, we've got a 2 compulsory pit stop requirement. Tonight, just the 1 splash and dash. But as we know, Joe, it is a very long pit lane here at the Sebring International Raceway.
Yeah, definitely. They've got a 65% fuel limit on board as well tonight. So I'd say over the 40-minute race, yeah, 65, you'd probably get maybe nearly 30 minutes. So your pit window should be somewhere between about the 10 or to 11-minute range to about the 30-minute range. So somewhere in there, you know, use your brain. Depends if you're caught in traffic or, you know, as to when you want to pit, or a little bit loose in the rear there for Nathan Michael under brakes. But yeah, like, do you want to run the majority of the race on high fuel but on your own, so you're not in traffic, or run long and run out of fuel and battle with the guys and, you know, potentially hurt your tyres? It's sort of up to you once you get going. And one thing that we didn't catch was what happened earlier on for Jonathan Harris. It showed that he crashed. Yes. We did actually miss it on lap 1.
We did.
He's in the middle there.
All on his own.
Terrible. No, I reckon that was a terrible net code.
Possibly.
Yeah, that looked like net code to me. We'll look overhead. There's a fair gap to the car inside him. And
there's an enormous gap.
Yes, so that looked like a bad case of netcode to me.
It's been a full week of technology being temperamental. And, I mean, you only have to ask Telstra customers what they think of the week that's been as far as technology and connection is concerned. Have a look at this. This is Travis as a party up around the outside, trying to get by Adam Funslow, and does so. Funslow will look to get him back on the inside as they come up towards the right-hander, and does return serve successfully. Through we go. Speaking of returning serve, men's semi-final night at Wimbledon coming up as soon as we're done here. At 10:30 Eastern time is when the first of those semi-finals will be on centre court. Yannick Sinner and Novak Djokovic, the second semi-final. You'll watch both of them on the wide world of sports, or on Stan Sport, of course, around Australia. And it is the start of an enormous weekend of sporting action, something for everybody. There is no doubt about that. And of course, we're only 2 weeks away from the Commonwealth Games getting underway in Glasgow. I can hardly believe I'm saying that, quite frankly. It's that sort of year, the pace at which it's rolling on by. 1:57.253 last time through for Andrew Dyson, the fastest lap of the race. So based on that, every reason to believe we might be able to sneak a 21st lap in, but I dare say what's going to bring us undone there temporarily is the transit time down the pit lane. We'll lose enough time down the transit of the pit lane, I think, to cap this at 20 laps. I hope I'm wrong. An extra lap, I don't think anyone would complain. I'm just confirming too, the two Ardley boys, Ashton and Kai, are out. They didn't even bother starting the race. Guy Leach and Doug Gowans have had to make early pit stops based on the issues they had on the opening lap, sustaining damage and the like. But thankfully, they've both got back out there and have resumed. Unfortunately, though, Joe, they're half a lap down.
They are. So, yep, Guy, Ashton, Doug, Guy, Brett's in the pits, Davis, Tim. Jeez, hang on. No, that's my camera being silly. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that sort of hurt them guys, that incident there early on. He's still carrying a bit of damage, Martin Davis, so he never used his fast repair. The poor old Sharpie had his ears boxed in by James Cooter. I was watching that there before. Jason Tymons had a bit of an incident. What's he done here? All on his own. Outbreak, pinch rears over that bump.
Been able to get away with it though, and I guess that's the one good thing about this circuit is, I mean, I'm not in the same realm or league as Virginia or Road America, but there's still good runoff area to work with, Joe.
There is, yeah. As you can see, there's unlike Bathurst, it's lined by walls. You at least get a little bit of grass here to try and get under control, or a bit of concrete. Just that little bit of elbow. Oh, in the background, who was that? That Bullock, was it? Went around? No, that's Greg Haney.
Yep. Our good mate from Whiskey Business Racing, who I think, if the feedback and intel that I've received throughout the course of the last couple of weeks is anything to go by, I dare say we'll have a new name for Greg come Monday.
Yes, there's every possibility.
And and something of a return to the future for you as well, albeit in a deputy status. But I'll say more about that a little bit later on, with a reminder to everybody at home that our GSRC annual general meeting is coming up on Sunday. If you want to connect the dots from there, feel free to do so. 40 minutes is the journey here, and we're already 20% of the way through that. 8.5 minutes gone, and Dale Atkins on screen at the moment running 12th. Big movers so far, Joe. I mean, Thomas Sinner up 9, Rodney Gollan up 8, so too James Katia. 10 positions gained so far for Luke Page, and 6 for Dale Atkins, 7 for Timmy Watson. So all the Whiskey Business boys are starting to get cracking here. They're moving along quite nicely.
Yeah, poor old Sharpie, like, he's up 2 spots, but everybody else around him has sort of gone up like a few more than what he has. So he's been a bit of a sitting duck, he has. James was sort of all over him, but Sharpie, he's a bit of a smoky, is he? He's usually always there as the season rolls on and he gets more comfortable in the car. The pace will come to him, and the Aston Martin, like I don't own the Chev, but the Aston Martin's actually, it's changed a lot. Oh no, here we go. Jolyon Hansen and Martin Davis, looks like they might have had a bit of an incident.
Or locked brake and checked up. So Hansen was late on the brakes, and the Whiskey Business entry in front was locking up the brakes. So bit of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other there, both contributing or contributors rather to the incident that took place. Brett Bradbury said, "I've had a gutful of this." See you, Sebring. Thank you. See you next week.
Yep, we'll see you at the next track.
I can't use what I'd normally like to use with the bidding farewell. Putting all my faith in you, Aiden, says Jonathan Harris. Aiden Carl, that's all right. I'm here on my bum from the couch for this one. I think half the field have started a petition for a competition caution, says Steve, and Brett Bradbury says, good night. No, I'd normally go with something else, but that only is transmittable in broadcasts on a Thursday or a Tuesday night, Joe. I
won't even abbreviate what he was thinking.
See you next Friday night doesn't work.
No, but that's about as PG as we can be at this hour of a Friday.
Oh dear. You knew exactly where I was going. I just had to work out how to word it.
I certainly did. We're not talking about the committee choice.
No, we're certainly not. No.
Anyway,
Nathan Michael on screen at the moment in 8th spot. You've got to have some fun with it, don't you, folks? Rodney Gollan is 7th. James Katia and Dale Sharp there, 9th and 10th. Sharpie going okay at the moment, under pressure from Luke Page and Dale Atkins, the 2 Whiskey Business Racing entries. Then Brian Bullock. So that's a 4-car battle pack. Andrew Dyson out to a 6-second advantage already, and we're on lap 6. Joel and Hansen on the tow rope as a result of that incident you saw a few moments ago. Liam Haycock's parked up. So too Jason Tierman and Brett Bradbury. The start of lap 5 has claimed 3 competitors, and here's Travis Azzopardi under pressure from Darren Lobb. We're riding on board with Adam Funslow. We're looking back at that battle for 3rd. Down the inside goes Lobb. The South African moves through onto the podium for the time being. Brilliant stuff. Can he hold it? Can he stay there? Travel look to return serve. The run to turn 1. We've just seen Rodney Gollan go off the road as a party yields and runs through in behind, tucks through and follows. Darren Lobb to the first corner. Dyson the leader by 6 seconds at the moment, but a cracking scrap for second, Joe. Thank goodness we've actually got a couple of active battles out there on the racetrack. Otherwise, I'd be joining that petition that Steve mentioned for the comp caution.
Yeah. Actually, we've got a couple of battles going on. There's this tight little group here. Sharpie back to Gollan. No, Gollan's a little bit back off. Sharpie to Brian Bullock, rather. Bit of a 4-pack battle going on here. So they certainly turned it on tonight.
Well, with the nice surprise that they're going to be on broadcast, I reckon that's part of the reason. Rodney Gollan, this was coming through onto the back straight.
Yeah, so he's grabbed that inside curb, got the car unsettled, and on that part of the concrete, there's just enough bumps that if you come off that inside curb and the car isn't settled, the bumps will just keep you going.
Indeed.
Oh, Harris has had another incident. What have you done, John? Pinched the rears over the bumps. Right, that last cone there. There it goes. No. Oh. No, he might have had a Rodney Gollan right in front of him.
Car park, unfortunately for those guys.
Move around the outside for Bullock.
11th is where he sits at the moment. He'd love a top 10, Joe.
Oh, cheapers. Dale's flirting with the curb. We just seen, oh, get off the grass, mate. Not a lot of grip out there.
Especially in these cars.
No, certainly not. That's left him vulnerable to Brian. He's going to try and have a big run up around the outside at Sunset. No, thinks better of it. Oh, Trav's in the pits.
So Trav pulls the trigger and goes early. He zigs, everybody else zags. Luke Page, his teammate, has followed him in as well, Joe. So 2 pit stops here. Guy Leach, Doug Gowans had to stop on lap 1. So there's probably an asterisk next to those blokes as to whether or not they can make it from there without transiting the lane once more. In comes Rodney Gollan as well at the end of lap 7. And that's no real surprise considering that he had that incident a few moments ago. Jonathan Harris, get a replay of me and Haycock. So this is interesting, isn't it? Because I'm having a look on my screen here, and Jono's sitting out there in 12th at the moment. So I don't know how he's relaying messages to us from the cockpit, but there it was again for those of you at home. So Haycock, oh, wow, yeah.
Uh-oh.
That probably explains a lot as to why Liam Haycock's parked up and done for the night, and he just sat there stationary. He couldn't go any further. Oh, dear. Fireworks early.
Yeah,
Haycock
so he's got over the
glass.
curb, out of control. I don't think there was anything intentional in it. A little bit clumsy, if anything, but yeah, I'd almost say not intentional. Very, very clumsy, though. Very
unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time, and the word or the phrase "innocent bystander" comes to mind in relation to Jonathan Harris in regards to that incident. Nowhere to go, and once, yeah, okay, clumsy's the word, but once the car takes hold of the driver and you're a passenger, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Oh, Dale Atkins into the wall. Exactly what we were just talking about. When the car takes hold of you, good luck. Hold on, strap in, buckle up, hold on tight.
The update that the GT1 went through, and I've said it quite a few times about a few different cars, but this car in particular used to be really, really planted and settled car, but it's something they did an update, I think last build, 3 months ago, maybe, and this car changed a lot. It's a lot twitchier than what it used to be. Like, it used to be a very planted and settled car, but I find it's a lot more difficult to drive, a lot more fun to drive in that sense, that it's not as easy, but it tends to, for me anyway, it feels like it's a lot easier to get in trouble, and it makes it harder to get it back when you make, you know, small errors like that end up being big problems. Oh, you got to stay out of trouble then, Johnny. You're nearly at halfway, mate. So we know he's listening to us.
Who is commenting on his behalf, though, or is he sending us voice to text comments from the cockpit? That's what I want to know. Who's doing his dirty work for him?
One thing that I would like to know is earlier on, Darren Lobb was all over the back of Daiso, and we sort of went away for a minute, came back, and there was a big gap, and he's now fallen behind Adam Funslow. So yeah, it's oh yes, you got to let go of the wheel, Jolyon. Snap your hand. And we have actually had a guy with a dislocated thumb this week from his direct drive. So that's one of those things. I took me about 15 years of sim racing and having direct drive steering wheels to learn that when you're going to crash and there's nothing that you can do about it, you've just got to let go of the wheel. Just let it do its thing, and less injuries that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So it is Johnny that's doing the typing himself.
Yes. Okay, so is it him that's also driving? Because who said men can't multitask? Have a look at this.
I can
John's in
imagine.
fine form.
Yeah, I'm picturing Squiddly Diddly with all his. There's a bit of a reference. If anyone even remembers who Squiddly Diddly is, with the octopus with all the hands driving and over on the keyboard and the mouse and everything all in one go. It'd be quite comical to get a camera on that one and watch, Johnny. You'll have to write us a novel. Greg Heaney's in the pits.
Just to finish, I didn't get a chance to tidy up the comment with regards to Brett Bradbury. That's the hat trick for Brett. He has had a dead set, insert word here, of a week, because he got taken out on Wednesday night at VIR. He went spectacularly crashing into the wall and flipping and flying. He couldn't get past turn 4 in any of the 3 races on the opening lap of Formula V last night. So, yes, unfortunately, Brett Bradbury has had a write-off sort of week in the entree slot of weeknight motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club to get season 26 underway. And if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. Fair dinkum. The only way is up for Brett Bradbury. You mentioned pit stops, Joe. Travis has a party, 11.82 seconds at the end of lap 7. Now, that's interesting because Dale Atkins, Greg Heaney, Rodney Golden are about on par with that. Luke Page only went 9.75 seconds, and the guys that stopped earlier, obviously they only stopped for 4 and 4.1 seconds respectively, so there's an asterisk next to them because I dare say that we'll see them transit the lane at least once more tonight, very late in the piece. We've completed lap 10. Andrew Dyson on lap 11 now. See what I mean? There we're 18 seconds south of that halfway marker, so if they can continue at that pace and don't lose too much time in the transfer through pit lane, and that's the only asterisk at the moment for mine. It's all going to come down to the transit time, Joe, as to whether or not we get the 21st lap or whether we're stuck on 20. And have a look at Darren Lobb, leaving nothing on the table there, trying to pressure Adam Funslow into a mistake here. And Travis has a parties, obviously, on the reverse strat to these guys. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to these two once these two have transited the lane and completed their compulsory splash and dash.
Yeah, well, they've got when you look at the time, on average is around 10 seconds. So, I mean, Dyso, he's got 8 seconds to Adam Funslow, who's really under pressure by Darren Lobb at the moment too. This is sort of the race on for the minors on the podium. But, yeah, I'm sure Dyso, with that sort of a gap, he's probably saving fuel anyway. So he'll end up with a shorter stint. Mav is probably in the box seat, for the minors. So yeah, nobody will want to be getting a speeding, a speeding penalty here. It'd be like a death sentence as far as results go.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I guess the other point as well, you do have drop rounds to fall back on throughout the course of the season, but you don't want to be starting with one of those already burnt. And unfortunately, Hanson, Haycock, Tim and Bradbury will certainly be doing that. Funslow, Lobb, second, third at the moment. Lavis is still fourth despite that early incident. And Thomas Sinner is there in fifth, very spaced out between fourth and ninth at the moment. The only battle in that 6-car pack is on your screen at the moment. Dale Sharp and Brian Bullock. Travis has a party in 10th. Then Jonathan Harris, Tim Watson and Martin Davis. Martin's actually giving Timmy Watson a bit of a hurry up right now as well. Neither of them yet to complete a stop. I was going to say, Joe, you've got a little bit of a soft spot for these GT1s, don't you? So if you weren't in a position as you are where you're broadcasting it, no doubt you would have been an extra bum in seat on the racetrack there and an extra competitor in the cohort tonight. Oh,
absolutely. This Aston Martin, just purely on the noise, is about one of my favourite cars on the sim, the service. It's and it's a fun car to drive. And I still remember about 3 years ago we had the production car final up at Mount Panorama, and I had a great battle with the two brothers, Brendan, the Whittaker boys. Up there,
Brendan and Chris.
Yeah, Brendan and Chris, and I think they might have got together at Griffin's there on one lap, and unfortunately ended Chris's championship run that time round. It's funny what you remember from 3 odd years ago, but yeah, it's definitely a great car. These things are a lot of fun, a lot of horsepower, and very raw car to drive. So I definitely would have been in there racing, but yeah, let's give the people what they want and broadcast it for the night. Oh, Sharpie got a little bit loose under brakes there, pinched the rears.
Handling the pressure, mounted by Brian Bullock superbly at the moment, Dale Sharp. The Aussie Racers entry. Another bit of invested interest there from Joe. Of course, that's one of his teammates that we're on screen with, or watching on screen at the moment. Down onto the back straight. The question is, when are they coming to pit lane? We're past the 23.5-minute mark now. Whoa, Andrew Dyson, fastest lap of the race on lap 12. On lap 12, 1:57.237. He means business. He's just having fun, licking the stamp, sending it, and punching out qualifying numbers lap after lap, and saying to the competition, here's the bar, and you've got to lift your game to raise up to that level. So join me here if you want to compete for victory.
Hey, Johnny Harris is just showing off now. Not only is he listening to us, driving, typing, he's off to make a copy as well.
How do you like it, Johnny? Me, I'm a caramel latte person, and I tell you what,
Caramel
it's 2
flat
sugars.
white for me.
it's for me, Joe. It's 2 sugars. It's obviously the caramel syrup, but I'm also adding honey to it at the moment because honey just gives it that extra kick and hits the sweet spot beautifully.
Bloody hell, it's not like you haven't got enough energy as it is. How many sugar hits you need? You put a little bit of equal powder in there as well for the flavour?
I didn't have any energy last night. By gee, I was ready to throw bricks at technology that I shouldn't be throwing bricks at last night. I was not in a very good mood, but we're better tonight, and I've got a little bit more energy on board as a result. I had 3 or 4 coffees yesterday, Joe, and I didn't get out of second gear. But the good thing is a little bit of coffee and topped off by some Powerade tonight. That's how we're motoring along on a Friday night. I think I'm more excited about the fact that IndyCar's back as well. I know there's been a lot of excitement around that internally within club servers and Discord channels of late. It's an old staple. It's a favourite of ours. We roll it out once a year, and it's always worth the wait.
And it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, he missed the race last year making coffee. Yeah, right.
Correct.
St. Pete's a new track to the service this build, which I actually had to purchase it to be able to broadcast it after this one. So it's going to be interesting to see how the guys go. Being a new track, there's not going to be any home track or 100-lap advantage to anybody. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to the IndyCar around there. Different sort of circuit than what we generally see for the IndyCar. It's a bit of more a road course circuit than anything from what I've seen. So,
yep.
So, yeah, it's going to like I think it's more like a street style. Is it not?
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. So that's going to be definitely interesting one. Martin Davis into the pits.
And this is his first and only, well, he hopes only stop, barring any incidents that require a fast repair or something of the sort. And now we're at a point where the top 7 down to Dale Sharp and also Thomas Sinner are the only ones left to stop in this race. Still only 4 retirements as well. We haven't had a retirement since lap 5. Lap 4 knocked out 3 of them. And have a look at Darren Lobb. Oh. All over Adam's Funzlo like a cheap suit just for fun at the moment. Hook a tow rope up and drag me along with you, he says. Lobb will be looking to trip Funzlo up on strategy in the pit lane, I reckon. Undercut, overcut. Have a look at this down on the inside. Actually, he's not going to wait. He's not going to wait. He's not going to wait for that transit to pit lane. Down the inside comes Darren Lobb and back to second position. Funzlo will bail off at this point in time. He'll peel off into pit lane, bails out of the battle and goes to pit road. So Lobb to second, and he got the job done authentically on the circuit, didn't rely on strategy. Now it's going to be interesting to see the games that are played here. Adam Lavis in as well.
I'm sure Matt will be pretty happy to get into the pit. So he must have copped a little bit of damage from that skirmish on lap 1, lap 2. So if he did have any damage, he'll get that all fixed up now. James Cooter's in the pits. Sharpie's going around again.
So Nathan Michael, Darren Lobb, Andrew Dyson and Dale Sharp are the only 4 going round a 15th time. Everybody else has decided to peel off this time through. So the field is all but cleansed now, Joe. And we've got 11 and a half minutes to go.
So you have to imagine it'll either be this lap or the next lap as JH. He's in, he's topping his milk off.
What type of milk are we talking? Are we talking full cream? Are we talking almond? Are we talking oat? Are we talking, you know, I mean, there's that many different forms of milk these days. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I won't insult him and say he sounds like an oat milk kind of guy. I just want to know how you milk oats. I've never seen that done before, but that's another story for another day. That'll get me in trouble if I talk too much about that sort of stuff. I get called a boomer when I start mentioning things along them. Here he goes into the pits. No, going around again.
Dyso's going to go on for a 16th lap here, folks. At the 29.5-minute mark, we're on the run home and all but certainly staring down 21 laps of racing here. In comes Darren Lobb. And to be honest with you, Joe, I reckon it's purely, wholly and solely the pace of Andrew Dyson that will likely take us to that 21st lap if we're lucky to get there.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want milk that tastes like real milk. That's fair from Dave Oliver. Good evening to you.
Been a long time since
full cream.
Yeah, been a long time since any milk's tasted like the milk I remember as a boy, but that's me being a boomer again.
Light skim omega-3. I'm starting to rattle off the commercial. Let's go around the grounds for the first time tonight as Dale Sharp comes in, as does Darren Lobb. Lobb out in 10.08 seconds. Sharp just hitting his box now. And there is Adam Funzai coming through. We're keeping an eye on him where he comes out in relation to Darren Lobb. Lobb's covered him off. Lobb has covered him off and has held down third spot on the track for now, and that's likely to be second once Nathan Michael makes his way into pit lane. Well done.
And Lobb used about 1.7 seconds worth of fuel less than what Mr. Funsley did, and that's the he's gone.
Oh, he held it.
Oh,
he caught it.
I thought he was going to grab the grass, and he would have been in a world of trouble.
He's definitely lost a little bit of time there. Adam Funsley has reeled him in. It's now 0.6 of a second. But you're right, Joe. 1.7 seconds difference. All in probably just following Adam Funsley and letting him drag him along, letting him do the heavy lifting. And he's been able to save a little bit of juice in the process. And there are plenty of slipstreaming opportunities around here, plenty of drafting opportunities. Those long straights, front and back. Along with other parts of the circuit as well. I mean, you're just looking at the track map on the top right-hand side of your screen. Anywhere where it's an elongated period of full throttle running has been to the benefit of Darren Lobb. In comes Andrew Dyson. Warriors 6 lead, Tigers 0 Friday night NRL. And in the AFL, it's Collingwood up against North Melbourne. It's at Marvel Stadium. And a short time ago, Collingwood booted their third goal of the night. North Melbourne have just kicked their second. It's 3-3-21 playing 2-4-16, although here's a kick for their third goal. Got it. And Collingwood trail now by 1. 3-4-22 plays 3-3-21. North Melbourne in front by 1 on a Friday night with 2 minutes 20 to go in the first quarter. Good work from all and sundry there. We'll stay around the grounds. We'll stay across all of what's going on a big Friday night throughout the course of the next couple of hours. This is Darren Lobb holding down second. Nathan Michael to pit road. That'll cleanse the field. Out he comes in 11.58 seconds. So we're seeing varying pit stop times, Joe, based on how heavy-footed you've been with the fuel usage, and some people have got that down to a finer art than others.
So your two biggest winners as far as pit and fuel economy goes is Dale Sharp, 9.9 second stop, Andrew Dyson, 9.85, and Luke Page, he's a 9.75, so he's had the quickest stop of anyone tonight. Oh, Dougie Gowans just equalled him, but In saying that, though, Doug, you probably would add a little bit of fuel from that lap 1 stop.
That was their second stop, you're right. And it was... So for both of them, they've gone in at the end of lap 16, so they've gone for a 15-lap run. Only Andrew Dyson and Nathan Michael managed to go for a 16-lap run. This is Greg Heaney with an off-track excursion. Loading in 3, 2, 1. There it is. And did well to get it off the racing line and out of harm's way. And he keeps rocking and rolling.
Here's your last...
sitting down in strength at the moment.
Your last 7 minutes worth of battling is going to be on these guys here, I would say.
I'm just glad that there's one.
There is a battle. And it's for a podium too.
There's actually a battle. Yep, absolutely. No one's catching Andrew Dyson. He's just in a different postcode. I wonder if it will be more complimentary and flattering of the GT1s in terms of how they are as a car to drive compared to his fairly brutally bluntly honest feedback for the supercar the other night. He was in pristine form on Wednesday Night Motorsport. There's no doubt about that. Very not dissimilar to when we used to have Chris Whitaker coming in here talking about the old Ford BA Falcon being a POS. And they were his exact words.
The original supercar.
The original, yeah. He was not a fan of
Can't argue.
It was labelled the Ford POS as far as Chris Whitaker was concerned. Hello, Nick Fodiatis is in the house. We were only talking about him a short while ago and the fact that he's got a great level of disdain for this circuit. We weren't going to see him lining up in GT1. Hopefully we'll see him lining up in the IndyCar, though.
About the only way that you'll ever catch Nick at Sebring is in the chat. That's about it.
Exactly.
Good evening, Nick.
Brilliant. Yeah, he's gone. He's seen the GT1s at Sebring. He's gone. Hopefully we'll see him in the IndyCar elsewhere in Florida a little bit later on in the show. Good on you, mate. Love your work. Good to hear from you. It's been a while. 35 minutes gone here. A battle for the podium. And credit to where I was going with the Chris Whitaker comment. Credit where it's due to him. With regards to that was like clockwork from Fodiatis. Fantastic. That was exactly how he worded it on air, because he was very mindful that we are for the most part a family-friendly program. So I don't need to elaborate on all of that. Everybody knows the extension of the alliteration there and the acronym. Or for Nick at the Waffle House down the road from Sebring. Yes, correct, Dave Wobbler. Very nicely done. You've done your research. I didn't realise there was a Waffle House down the road. How good. Jonathan Harris 13th at the moment. So this is the other battle on the racetrack. This is Harris trying to get by Dale Atkins for 12th. Guy Leach and Greg Heaney also arguing over 14th right now. Leach on the comeback trail. A night to forget for some. We had 23 starters. We're going to end with 19, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to keep an eye on Andrew Dyson when he comes back by the line next time through, Joe. I reckon he's going to take this field to 21 laps. I just get the feeling that he's going to take the field to 21 laps, which is not going to be good news for some. And that's a beautiful move from Jonathan Harris down on the inside. Atkins will look to return serve on the exit of Sunset. And that's mightily tight. Barely inches in this. Side by side they go. Harris retains 12th around the outside down the main straight to hold the inside line to turn 1. Will Atkins try and sweep around the outside? No. Harris has done enough to consolidate 12th for the moment. Here comes Atkins on the exit on the run down to 2 and 3. No. Harris will retain 12th spot. Mighty fine battle that.
Glad we caught that one. That was
of course, Joe.
That was a great, a great exchange with them two guys. And it's one of the, difficult track, bumpy, concrete and all that, but it lends to great racing down there at Sunset. You're running there just a little bit too hot, grab one of them bumps and it can absolutely ruin your night. So, great exchange by them guys. And, that's what we want to see. Nice, clean racing. I've got a funny feeling that Darren Lobb and Aaron Funzlow are probably going to do the same thing very, very shortly in the next lap or two. Only got just on 2 minutes about to tick over, so 2 laps to go, I reckon.
Yep, absolutely. Dyso's managed to get it back before that 2-minute threshold, so 2 to go at Sebring, so we will go substantially into overtime. I just had a message come through from the aforementioned Ed Fodiatis. Unfortunately, we won't see him on the grid tonight for the IndyCar series, but he hasn't ruled it out at some point, which will be good to see him back in familiar old territory and ground. And of course, the original pioneer of the GSRC Friday night slot, Nick Fodiatis. So, no, cannot wait to see what the IndyCar series has in store for us and see him play a part in it at some point, I hope. So, no, good to have him tuning in this evening. Andrew Dyson leads. This is the battle for second, and that now on your screen is the battle for 16th. Martin Davis and Rodney Gollan both have had their moments throughout the course of this race. Davis down 3 spots, Gollan down 1. Biggest mover, Luke Page, up 12 spots. The only one in double digits, Joe. Nice drive from Luke Page. And off went Dale Atkins, and that's going to hand Jonathan Harris 12th spot. And no forthcoming pressure from Dale Atkins on John O'Harris now with a lap and a half to go.
Down at turn 1. Oh, a little bit too much pace. It's gone wide into the grass. Yep. Very easy to do.
So easily you become a passenger as soon as you hit that grass there, Joe. Some circuits, you know, better than others, but at Sebring, she's particularly savage.
Here we go. This is about to heat up. We're coming up. Final lap into... Oh, where are we here?
That's Sunset.
That is Sunset, yep. Oh,
so last lap, board in the air. White flag flies. The question is, can Adam Funslow find a way by on Darren Lobb? Time will tell. Be right on board. It's Lobb looking back at Funslow. Funslow's going to be a chance here, and it all stems back to that mistake that Lobb made at the end of the back straight a few moments ago, Joe, about this point of the circuit here where he went a little bit too deep into the corner. And that allowed Funslow to claw some time back and get back within that slipstream time frame. There's that small window of margin to play with. The sweet spot, he got back into that threshold, and he's been able to stay on the tail of Darren Lobb ever since and keep him honest. Now, it's a case of who does what when they get down to the back straight. Does Adam Funslow have enough in the tank to make a move and have a dive into Sunset, or will Lobb be alert and aware of the challenge forthcoming and find a way to launch a defence to keep him at bay? We'll wait and see. But in the meanwhile, Andrew Dyson for DPR Racing, his second comprehensive race win of the week here coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. And it will be to the tune of 13.5 seconds. I'm not sure we should take our eyes off this, though, because there's about to be an opportunity for Adam Funslow. The margin's only half a second. The slipstream benefit will be great. Andrew Dyson and DPR Racing are victorious at Sebring in Florida, the opening round of the GSRC GT1 Civil War. Lobb's done enough to hold Funslow at bay, to keep him behind. And Funslow was wide on the exit of the final corner, did well to keep it off the wall. The South African goes second. The ILEC Motorsport entry of Funslow is third. Trav Azzopardi from race control to fourth. Very nicely done from Trav. And Adam Lavis secures a top 5 finish. And Joe, a lot of movement up and down the field, but the top 5 end up finishing exactly where they started. So for them and them only, the qualifying form guide read true to form.
They did. So great racing too, like with that little skirmish there on lap 1. Yeah, a couple of the guys unfortunately started the series out the way they certainly wouldn't have wanted to, but they fought on to the end, get the laps, get the practice in, which is, that's half the battle, right, is actually getting the laps in. So, once these guys get the laps put away and get a bit of practice, the rest of the series will come to them as we go on. So, a couple of those guys, Rodney Gollan, I'd expect better out of him. Dougie Gowans is another good peddler. A lot of the guys there, Liam Haycock, Jason Tyman, these guys will definitely put in some better performances as the season goes on. Last guy across the line, Timmy Watson.
In 19th spot. In the end, only 4 retirements, Joe, and they're all in the first 5 laps. Joel Hansen, Liam Haycock, Jason Timman and Brett Bradbury, biggest mover of the night. Luke Page up 12 spots. Brian Bullock up 4. So too Nathan Michael. Dale Atkins up 5. Greg Heaney up 4. Tim Watson up 5. And the only other big mover to make note of in all of that was James Katia up 9 spots and Thomas Sinner as well. Equal on 9. Dyson by 13.8. Formidable and dominant. And it just goes to showcase yet again that no matter what that guy jumps behind the wheel of at the moment, he's dynamite. He is just in a purple patch, Mr. Versatile on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and just carved everybody up. That was a little bit of late night school for everybody on a Friday night in the midst of the school holidays, Joe.
It definitely did, and we've got a little bit of housekeeping for tomorrow night that we've got to cover off, so we might quickly do that before anybody jumps in if they're going to have a chat with us. We got this to go,
Good idea, actually. Yes, and nice to actually be able to do this on a Friday night again, Joe, because obviously it is the mainstay of Saturday Night Motorsport is the GSRC MtnMen Spectacular from Mount Panorama Bathurst. 32 laps for rounds 1 to 9, 50 laps round 10. Of course, 200 kilometres for the preliminaries and 300 kilometres for the finale. Of course, we didn't have Friday Night Motorsport on the regular last term, so therefore we didn't have the opportunity to do the wheel spin during broadcast to remind everybody what the car of choice will be for tomorrow night. I know this is your baby, mate, so I'm going to let you do the honours. There's some good choices on that wheel there.
There is definitely some good cars. I'd like to say the MX-5, but it doesn't look like that's what we're getting. GT4s. Nice. It is. Yes. So GT4s tomorrow night. It'll be a full grid of GT4s. 32 laps, 2 random safety cars, unlimited fast repairs, fixed setups. So, yeah, whether or not you pick the right car or the wrong car, either way, it will be a car. But turn up tomorrow night, Saturday night, MtnMen, and have a bit of fun, gentlemen. So that's what you're going to be running. So one of the other things, hang on. I've lost my mouse. Right. Oh, I'm over on the other page. That's why.
There we go.
So one of the things
GSRC merch store.
The merch store. That's one of the other things we got to give a plug. So yeah, merch.tgsrci.com and get in there. Team gear's available. GSRC merch is available there. Hoodies and stuff. Yeah, get your orders in. But what we do have at the moment is we've got a Mr. Andrew Dyson.
We do indeed. Jonathan Harris, 40 minutes, I'll never get back. Yeah, I feel the same way about the tech headache that I had during last night's broadcast, Jono. Don't worry about that. Andrew Dyson's here with us for the second time this week in Victory Lane. We'll hear from him in just a moment. The other bit of housekeeping that I think it's worth ticking off at this point in time is to remind everybody that if you want to join in the fun of the fair and get involved in what we do here and how we go about it and get out there in the field of battle with all of these other lunatics, the best way to do that, ladies and gentlemen, that was the start of the 40 minutes that he won't get back, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That car that went deep off the road under brakes at turn 1. That was Jonathan Harris. Not that I'm trying to rub salt into the wound, but it's poetic timing that it's come up on replay just after he made the comment. Race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all the relevant GSRC news and information, and that covers off just about every bit of detail, where we're racing, what we're racing, when we're racing, and the who, why and how of this magnificent club and all the other little bits and pieces of news and information that you need with regards to rules, etc., is accessible via there. And I guess that's probably the best place to go and hit the Contact Us link if you are a budding sponsor that wants to get involved and back one of these championships throughout the course of the campaign, because as I mentioned earlier, there are a few championships that don't have a naming rights sponsor attached to them. at the moment. We'd love to be able to fix that. Although that being said, the highlight of my week so far has been Andrew Dyson's post-race performance on Wednesday night in the supercar. And I said it during the call, Dyso, and good evening to you. Let's start here by saying well done and congratulations. Another clinical and dominant performance from you. Nearly 14 seconds to the good. But you weren't overly flattering with your feedback for the supercar the other night. So where does the GT1 stack up in relation to how it is as a car to drive for one A. Dyson from DPR Racing?
First I should say, hello everyone. First I should say, I turned it up a little bit the other night. I was just trying to have a bit of fun, and I did preface that with the boys by saying, "Watch this, watch how much BS I talk here."
Well, mission accomplished, and I was happy to keep fueling that fire. Don't worry, we enjoyed every single piece of it.
It was a bit of fun.
Coming soon to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival too, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, look out for the billboards. No, it's an interesting car. This one, it's not. It has its quirks like everything. It's unique, but I actually said it's unique, but not in a supercar way where it's you can't feel what's happening. It does tell you what it wants, so that's kind of cool. Although it tricks you and it makes you think you can drive into the corners a lot faster than you should, and I reckon that would catch a few people out, and it probably did tonight. I know it certainly did with Daz. He ran out of brain capacity and talking smack, trying to drive the car, and no sooner after he said, "Is the next Apex going to make the first one you make?" and he was off the road. That was pretty funny.
Indeed, and you mentioned Daz. I mean, Darren Lobb, nice recovery in the end, got back to second spot. Adam Funslow kept him honest every step of the way, though, in the run to the checkered flag. But it was pretty much when Daz saw himself off the circuit there that the seas parted, and it made pretty smooth sailing for you from that point. It must get a little bit lonely at times when you're out there just punching out qualifying lap after qualifying lap. And let's get a comment with regards to the pace of that thing tonight, because it didn't look to me as though there was any sort of drop-off or deterioration in car performance or tyre wear or anything like that.
Yeah, I suppose in that sense it keeps it interesting because it does go faster and faster, so it sort of encourages you to stay engaged, I suppose. And I think the performance of the car comes back again. So you get an initial hit with the good tyre at the start. Then the weight of the car comes down and you get a bit of performance back, and it's probably faster at the end of a run actually than it is at the start. So that's, like I said, it encourages you to stay engaged and keep pressing on. But for the most part, they were sort of cruising around and watching the relative to see how Daz was going with those guys, because that was the most interesting thing to happen during the race. I'm sure you guys probably spent a bit of time watching that one as well as the other battles out there.
Well, we were just happy that there was one or two to actually keep an eye on towards the end of the night, because there weren't many. But it's interesting too, because one thing that neither Joe or I touched on, but I mean, there hasn't been too much change in the formula here since the last time we broadcasted it in GT1. We call it the American-British Civil War. So we've got 5 British circuits, we've got 5 American circuits, we've got 1 British manufacturer in Aston Martin, we've got 1 United States manufacturer in Chev, and that's how we get to the name and title of this series, right? The concept. So I guess the obvious question from me to you, based on that, is you went for the Aston as opposed to the Chev. Why?
Oh man, this is gonna make me look real lame. I said to the boys, "What's the difference between the cars? Is it just V12 and one's a V8?" And Benny Roberts, he may or may not be in the club, but I don't know. But he said to me, they're pretty much the same. The Aston's easier." I said, "Cool, I'm lazy. That'll do me." So I chose the Aston. But I actually didn't know about the Civil War part you were explaining there, so that's kind of interesting. And before the race, I checked out the schedule, and I thought, gee, some of those tracks there are pretty narrow, and this car feels pretty wide. I don't know why we're doing them ones, but it makes sense now that we're doing American tracks and English tracks.
Indeed, and Joe, that's an interesting point as well, because I mean, you've been familiar with the series for a while. You're a fan of it. Again, if time permitted and you weren't committed to broadcasting Friday nights, you'd be out there with the boys turning wheels in anger. I mean, there's a lot to like about this series, but it's interesting that you've only got 2 manufacturers to choose from, and obviously we've heard why Dyso went for the Aston. Which car do you prefer to drive when you're out there?
Well, I'm the Aston. I won't own a Chev, so I'll stick with the Aston Martin. Not only for the fact that it's a B12 and it sounds incredible, but I certainly prefer the Aston Martin over the 2.
All right, very nicely done. Now, Daiso, are we going to see you here on a regular basis in this slot, or is this just a time-killing filler slot for you on a Friday night this week? What's the lay of the land? What does the schedule look like? Will we see you on a regular basis?
Well, I mean, I've sort of noticed a trend over the last few seasons. I think I've been in the club for maybe a year and a bit now, as well as another stint a couple of years back. But what I've noticed is that most stuff at the start of the season will get really good participation. So that's the best time to jump in and try some stuff out and try and get amongst it and try and keep the numbers up. So we'll see what it looks like next week. If the numbers are good, hang around, keep doing some more races. But I mean, I'm not overly stressed if I don't race anything. But this car's kind of cool, so wouldn't mind doing it.
All right, very nicely done. What are your thoughts on IndyCar? Are we going to see you jump in and have a crack in the IndyCar in a few moments' time or not?
Oh, probably not, man. I'm about to finish my second one, so I know if I jump in, I'm going to have a bad time. And I don't mean to jump into these races and be reckless and on the cans and whatever that sort of thing is. But as long as I go out there and have a good time and don't crash into anyone, if I crash myself, I don't mind. So, but no, I'm not going to go out there and continue to hit the cans and jump in IndyCar and cause someone else to have a bad time. So I'll probably stay away from it.
But in saying that as well, mate, it's not as though you're jumping in and getting in the way because you're too far out in front to actually be in the way in any way, shape or form. Yeah,
for the moment.
I guess it does make everybody stand up and take notice, though. And as I said during the call, the goalposts are here, the benchmark is here. The onus is now on everybody else to find a way to rise up to that level.
I guess so. I mean, I don't like to think of myself as a benchmark or anything like that. But I mean, if you win a race, you can't argue with it. So yeah, I'll take that, I suppose. Thank you.
Nicely done. Hey, what does the weekend look like from a sim racing standpoint? DPR racing, tackling Spa?
Yeah, a few of the boys are doing that. I was contemplating doing it. I'm not real keen on it, so I'll probably watch. I don't know if we have two cars in it or not now. I think one of the boys hurt himself for real. Really hurt himself.
Oh dear.
And so he's off the sim for a while. So Chris, if you're listening, hope you're recovering well. Much love to you, my man. But no, for me, I've just got some NASCAR racing on. So a couple of NASCAR races over the weekend. That should be a bit of fun.
We did educate everybody on what the calendar looked like for this upcoming term of GT1 at the top of the broadcast, mate. Let me get your thoughts on that before I let you go, because you look at, you mentioned the British circuits being tight, so you got Brands Hatch, you got Donington, you got Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen from the US standpoint. Then we go back to Alton Park, back to Road America, over to Snetterton, back to the Daytona International Speedway Road Course, and finishing it off at Silverstone for an enduro, as long as we do so under green flag conditions and not under safety car like Formula One the other night, I'll be happy. But what are your favourite circuits out of that 10 that I've just mentioned there? Obviously, Sebring wasn't an issue. What about the other 9?
Well, my bad. Sebring seems to come up in every series, doesn't it? So I'm glad to get it out of the way if I do all the races. But no, I think Silverstone's probably a good one. I really like the new Silverstone, but I wouldn't mind if it's the old classic Silverstone. I don't actually know which one it is, but that'd be kind of cool because it never really comes up too often in anything. It looks a little dated. It's not a pretty track at all, but that's probably why it gets avoided a fair bit, I reckon. But yeah, wouldn't mind doing that one. That'd be a standout, I reckon. Even though it's the last race, so yeah, participation can drop off. But I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Indeed. All right. Very nicely done, mate. Great to catch up with you. Congratulations on that performance yet again tonight. And, of course, again, the dominance we saw from you on Wednesday night. 2 from 2 for the week. Go and rest up. Enjoy the weekend. Good luck with the NASCAR stuff, and hopefully see you next week somewhere.
Well, thanks. Hopefully I can stay alive and get some good finishes. I keep pressing the wrong push to talk. I don't know if you can notice the delay.
I was figuring that. Yeah, that's all good and well. Is there anyone you'd like to thank, though?
Look, I didn't thank all you guys for doing this, and I think I thanked you for putting up with my BS the other night, but I didn't thank you for putting this together and doing all these long streams for us and talking about us going around in circles every night. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome here with good material and good banter anytime you like. We absolutely loved it on Wednesday night, and I'm sure everybody else tuning in at home got a good chuckle out of it as well. And sometimes you've just got to do that. You've got to have some fun with it. Go well, mate. Thanks for that.
All right, thank you. See you, boys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are a few minutes away now from the start of the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy Series for the new campaign 2026 Term 3. Been a bit of a sad week, hasn't it? Of course, last night we were talking about the passing of Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart, and the original version of Simply the Best. I guess from a personal standpoint, we got news through yesterday before we went on air last night that one of our dear friends from the Bathurst days, those of you that know my background in broadcasting and media and everything else and life in general know that I spent a good period of time down in Bathurst in the central western New South Wales, not actually too far from the racetrack, quite frankly. And while I was there, attempting to be a student, one of the lovely staff members within the corridors of Charles Sturt University and one of the jack-of-all-trades within that was a lady by the name of Lorraine Covington. Anyone that's of CSU alumni at the moment mourning her passing yesterday. We knew that she'd been unwell. We didn't know how unwell, but yeah, we got news last night that she's no longer with us, and that's very sad. And of course, today you'll have woken up or, of course, gone to your lunch break and heard the news, depending upon your work schedules and other factors. I certainly woke up to the news. I know a lot of you would have been awake a lot earlier than I was, although I didn't fall asleep until after the World Cup game at 8 o'clock this morning. And well done to France over Morocco, by the way. You will have heard the news that at the age of 82, the human headline Darren Hinch has passed away as well. He too had been in ailing health for some time. And whether you liked him or loathed him, you cannot deny the impact he's had on this world that we live in a very positive manner. A very, very good journalist and operator, and of course, always firm, and one that was very staunch in standing up for what he believed in and living and dying by that sword. He even went to jail for his beliefs, of course, in trying to make the world a better place in his quest to, in the name of the safety and well-being of children, at least, naming and disclosing convicted child molesters and pedophiles and that sort of stuff. He was ruthless in that crusade of his, and hopefully one day down the line, when society transitions from protecting them from being publicly named and shamed into protecting victims, past, present, and future, when that National Sex Register offenders list that he so ruthlessly campaigned for in his time in Parliament, when that comes to being, everybody that sided with him in his quest to make that law will be able to stand there and raise a glass in his honour. So we mourn the passing of those people this week. It's been a sad, sad week in that regard. We've got some other bits and pieces to get through before we go to a break. Joe, what have you got to add?
I'm actually having trouble getting into the IndyCar thing. iRacing anti-cheat is... I've never had it in 13 years on the service, and apparently it's telling me that I'm cheating. I can't...
Oh, well,
that's
got to be rubbish.
Yeah, so I might have to end the stream and reconvene it after a quick PC restart. I'll give it another go, but...
And I guess that's probably the best bit of to take away from all of this, Joe, is that we actually have got 10 minutes up our sleeve in order to do that. So we'll take a break. We'll remind you that the AFL is North Melbourne and Collingwood. They're 40 points apiece at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic. And the NRL is the West Tigers and the New Zealand Warriors, and that's currently 14-6 in the favour of the Warriors. So they're going along nicely. We're going along nicely. Joe's PC needs a kick in the guts. We'll let it have that, and we'll come back on this first edition of Friday Night Motorsport for Term 3 of 2026 on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. We'll come back with all the action from the IndyCars in just a few moments.